On Working Week this week, we'll be looking at how the creative community in Nottingham work.
It's good, this, isn't it?
It's great.
In, say, 5 years' time, I think we're going to see something completely different. Loads of regeneration all over the creative quarter itself and within the city limits too. A lot more vibrant businesses, a lot of young businesses too.
And we'll be getting the thoughts of the venerable Richard Baker on Nottingham's economy.
With the biggest city in the fastest growing region in the UK, that's got to be good for jobs, it's got to be good for growth.
And we'll be getting your beauty tips.
Got past you there.
Don't go without a red lipstick. Always have a red lipstick in your bag.
Less is best.
Hello, I'm Rob Pitton.
And I'm Des Coleman. And on this week, can you believe we've got our creative heads on?
Yeah, because we'll be finding out what life and work is like and play for the people building Nottingham's new creative economy. And believe it or not, Des, this is a place of work.
It's great, isn't it?
My kind of job.
I've crashed.
You'll be getting the parking ticket in a minute. The arcade game belongs to a clutch of businesses based in an old lace factory on Woolpack Lane in Hockley. It's typical of the companies being encouraged to move into the creative quarter, which is based around the Hockley area and the lace market in Sneinton. It's a city council initiative backed by government and European funding and a £60 million pot, providing premises, business support and grants and loans, with the aim of creating thousands of jobs in new technology and the old buildings which once employed just as many in the city's traditional industries. So let's take a closer look at one of them. Let's be honest, from the outside it doesn't look too good, does it? A little bit run down perhaps, but that's the whole idea of the creative quarter. There are some clues though inside as to the fact that this place is getting busy. All those letters, for example. Also some clues as to this building's past. Used to be a textile operation. That steel shutters where the goods would have gone out in the old days. And I must say they're pretty well-worn steps. And look at this handrail, all the paint peeling off it. The walls too are a bit grubby. I kind of wish I hadn't done that now, actually. It's not very promising, is it? And then you walk into a room like this and suddenly it all becomes very light and airy and, dare I say it, a little bit trendy. You've even got the rusty cast iron pillars here. A remnant, perhaps a reminder of the industrial past of this building, but everywhere else you look, it's all very high-tech and very cutting-edge. Take a look in there. There's people working on computers there very earnestly. There's people in here too making very important decisions. All this in the new technologies that have just been developed over the last few years. And as the cameraman walks past and narrowly avoids that cast iron pillar, we'll go across and meet some of the people that work in here. Tom and Aaron run the Impression Digital Agency. And Aaron, I guess the first question is, what on earth is a digital agency?
Okay, so a digital agency really helps companies be found online. There's a variety of services we offer, anything from something a little bit more tangible, such as building a website, through to marketing that website on search engines, particularly Google, also some social media, some email as well.
Why does it take a separate company to do something like that? What is it that you do then?
It's the specialities that you can get from an agency that really helps your marketing campaign. What we've got here is a bunch of experts in their field rather than just what you might be able to recruit into a business. We work across a wide number of client accounts across all those digital channels, and it's actually the experience that we gain from working across industry and across sector that will really give the clients a good return on their investment from working with an agency like ourselves.
Impression was set up just over a year ago by Tom and Aaron. Already it employs 6 people and is taking on new clients quickly. The people here work in a digital world, online all the time, promoting clients through social media like Facebook and Twitter, or making sure their names come up top in a Google search. But although it's housed in an old mill, it's a business that could be anywhere in the world.
We could work from a beach, we could work somewhere a lot warmer, but the benefits of Nottingham, yeah, it's great. I've been here for 4 years and I'm seeing a lot of investment. There's a lot of new companies popping up, there's a lot of companies requiring our services. There's also a lot of talent from the university, so we can really pull on some kind of students over the summers and also recruit some graduates and some experienced employees in the city as well.
And what's it like working in a building like this? I mean, it's a bit weird, isn't it? Because they've got these high ceilings and presumably old ghosts hanging around. It's quite a weird place.
We absolutely love it. It's somewhere we can kind of put our stamp and make it our office. Obviously, we could go for somewhere a lot more corporate. It could kind of be tiled and kind of the standard lights that you'd be expecting to see, but somewhere that we can make a bit creative. So you'll see the air hockey table and all that kind of stuff. It creates a good environment for us and the employees and the guys.
In some ways, it's a modern twist on the oldest of business ideas, getting customers to notice you, but targeted directly at the millions of people online. Even old-fashioned PR can be handled digitally, with companies getting publicity in the virtual world, which leads to sales in the real world.
Digital PR takes the best bits from more traditional PR, so the eye for a good story and being able to write well for press releases, good journalist contacts, and it takes it online, focuses on coverage which can provide links through to a customer's website, all with the idea really of driving more traffic to their website and ultimately getting them more business.
Well, we talk a lot in this programme about the improvements to Nottingham's economy, but is it really improving? And where's that growth coming from? And what does our economy look like anyway? Well, someone who's got the answer to all those questions is Richard Baker, who's the business editor at the Nottingham Post. So Richard, just give me an overview first of all. What in your eyes is Nottingham's economy all about?
Nottingham's economy is about a load of numbers like any other. If you're going to analyse an economy, then you normally spout loads and loads of data. And I suppose if you want to look at the raw numbers, then things are pretty good. We're the biggest city in the fastest growing region in the UK. That's got to be good for jobs. It's got to be good for growth. So we seem to be doing okay. Now, let's dwell on data for a minute, because one of the stories behind Nottingham is an industry called data analytics. One of the big businesses in that is Experian. What's data analytics? It's an industry which examines how people behave, what kind of money they earn, where they spend that money. And that's turned into a money spinner itself for Nottingham, because Experian is one of a series of businesses that employs thousands of people examining the way that we live now.
So does that mean there are knock-on benefits for other parts of the economy then?
Well, it does, because one of the industries that tends to use data analytics most, and probably one of Experian's bigger customers, will be retailers. One of the big retailers around here is a business called Boots, and we've all seen the story recently about Boots being taken over by the Americans. Now, there might be some worries about that, because decisions about Boots are going to be taken over at the other side of the Atlantic. But in fact, I suspect that what's happened here is that what the Americans have bought into is skills based in Boots, which is very good at coming up with wonderful products like Number 7. It's also good about knowing how to market them. It's very, very experienced about retailing. So the Americans have come over here to buy into the experience and skills that we've got, and those are very good signs for the future of our economy.
So given all that, how do you see the economy developing in the future?
Nottingham's economy has got to build on what it's got at the moment. It's done reasonably well in terms of job creation, but it's got to think forwards. It's got to provide a future for the people who are currently in colleges and schools. It needs to give them the right kind of skills that can provide jobs that will stick in a place like Nottingham. So they can't be jobs that could be moved elsewhere. It needs to be a sort of mix of skills. They can be temporary jobs, but it also needs people who are going to be scientists, who are going to be the manufacturers of the future.
We spend a fortune on our appearance. But what tips have the beautiful people of Nottingham got on looking good?
Just make sure you feel good in the skin you're in, and then you'll look good.
You have to wear makeup in my job, so definitely makeup, bit of red lippy, brighten yourself up, and a quick hairdo is this hairdo, because it takes 2 seconds.
Don't go without a red lipstick. Always have a red lipstick in your bag.
It's better to buy something expensive that's good for you rather than something really cheap and then your face just breaks out or something like that.
You take care of yourself, yeah?
Yeah, I do, yeah. Drink a lot of water.
Do you think that's important?
Well, drink a lot of water?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, alcohol messes up your skin, and smoking ages your skin as well, doesn't it? So, yeah.
Julie, what's your money-saving tip for other women?
Less is best.
Well, that's what you think. Now over to Rihanna, who's been to meet a woman who's made a business out of the love of beautiful skin.
So what I'm going to do is just come around the other side and have a closer look at your skin.
Louise Sumner runs a specialist skincare business from a purpose-built clinic that she built on the side of a house.
So I'm going to get the mag lamp and just have a little look. People are specialising. We can't be jack of all and master of none. So people are doing nails and tanning, and there are very talented people doing that. And then there are therapists that are deciding to just do skin. Yeah, we can really tell that you've stopped smoking, Martin. Your skin is looking so much more oxygenated. Yeah, it is. Now, you're also cabin crew, aren't you, Martin?
I am, yes.
So
yeah.
I can see a little bit of dehydration, but it's not easy. When you come out of college, you need to, in my opinion, work for someone else. A lot of people come out of college, go straight into their own business. It's like driving. You don't learn until you're on the road, really. You've just got the basics when you come out of college. Right, Martin, I'm just going to do some exfoliation, and we're going to do a really gentle exfoliator here.
Louise is now in a position where she has regular clientele, but it's taken 700 hours of training and years of sacrificing holidays to get to the stage where she can call herself an expert and have a filled appointment book.
Obviously the big one is ageing, but there are things like pigmentation. I do a lot of young girls now. My clients are bringing their daughters. I'm even getting sons in so that they can look after their skin from early on, and particularly to learn about sun damage, because that is a crucial part of what I do, is educating people about sun damage. And also I see people's skin all the time, so sometimes I have identified and spotted things that I'm not happy about, and that's led on to GP referrals that have then led on to potential skin cancer issues. So it's just having a professional like me to be looking after what you're doing with your skin.
Well, that's just about all we've got time for in this half, but coming up,
we'll be meeting the two guys fresh out of college who have set up a clothing empire.
How'd you do that? That was clever.
I know.
I had no idea you were there.
I need to be stroking a cat.
This is why we wanted to do it now, because it's not much to lose, because we don't really have anything.
Yeah. And remember Mr. Bond?
Yes.
The guy that we spoke to last week, who had the theory that Nottingham was responsible for just about everything, including sex, swearing and America. Yeah, well, he's back.
Is he?
More ideas.
Oh, I'd love to hear, yes.
We're so rich in ideas that we're able to pick them up like that and then tear them up and move on to the next thing.
Well, that's it for now. See you in a few minutes.
Back to work. Welcome back to Working Week, and as you can see, we're still working very hard here in Nottingham's creative sector.
Yes, and we'll be looking at some young guys setting up a clothing empire right here in Nottingham, or nearly.
Oh, and while we're in the... Oh, I can't believe it.
Go on, finish your link.
Over. While we're in the creative quarter, you're such a bad winner. We'll be finding out what the top tips are for you for making the most of the digital world for your business.
And can you remember the man who said that we invented everything in Nottingham? Oh, nearly. Well, yes! America, sex and swearing. Well, he's back with some more great ideas. No chance.
You've probably noticed already, but Nottingham is full of students. 53,000 of them, in fact. That's 1 in 6 of the city's population. Which means for a sharp-eyed entrepreneur, there's a big market to sell their goods to. It also means there can be a pool of talent for the city. Many of the new startups in Nottingham are from former students staying here and setting up in business. And 2 Trent University alumni fit that mould perfectly. The 2 Jameses, James Thomas and James Kellett, have just opened up a clothes store in the Broadmarsh aimed at selling designer clothing to their fellow students.
As graduates, we know what students like, so we're aiming predominantly at students, mainly men, but we do have a small women's wear section. We're also quite involved with the local music scene and our new range, like this t-shirt, it's Chet Baker. We've got loads of sort of iconic musicians on our new range.
We've been open about a month now. It's been a little bit slow, but we're definitely hoping to see it pick up now the students are back. We've been trying to market towards the students. We've done loads of flyer drops the last few days, and hopefully we're going to see them coming through the door.
James Kellett has just graduated from Trent in business management. James Thomas is in his final year studying the same subject. They also share a passion for music and clothes, and that's reflected in the shop.
This is a Prisma hoodie. What we're quite keen on is really clean, simple designs, and this illustrates that quite well.
It's really high quality as well. Obviously you can't touch it on the telly, but it is really, really soft, and unlike quite a lot of the hoodies, it's like a thin hoodie, so you can wear it inside and outside.
As well as our own brand, we also sell some other local brands. Here we've got, this is a brand called Aggie, great local designer, really good quality stuff. Also we've got some independent brands from around England. This is a brand called Positive Outlook.
From Coventry. This is basically what James is wearing over there. This is a range, the Prisma Pyramid range. Again, really high quality garments, but we like it to be affordable. As mentioned earlier, this is part of the music range. This is a very young Bob Dylan, and then we've added the classic Prisma triangles.
Of course, they're still young entrepreneurs, so here's the seemingly obligatory air hockey game. But despite their youth, they're finding dealing with suppliers no problem, so far.
We find like if we just be nice to people, we've not really had many issues with people.
A lot of people see that we're graduates and we're young and we're getting out, and everyone's like willing to help us at the moment. So maybe in a few years when we're a bit older, maybe they'll be more ruthless.
Although this is their first store, the pair ran the business as an online venture for more than a year, giving them cash to open up the shop. There's also been a grant and advice from the Hive, Trent University Centre for helping its students and others in the city to set up in business. And they've been carrying out their own market research to get the customers in.
This is a local brand called AAGI.
Basic things like make sure the window display is good, but we've also changed the layout of the shop around about 3 times a week to try and get we've noticed people like touching things, so we got extra rails in, higher up tables. We just had quite low tables at the start, but now we've sort of made everything sort of so people can just pick it up, see what the size is and try it on.
We sort of watched people for a while and saw that they weren't engaging with the clothes as much as they should have been. And we took a few days to look around the other shops, Urban Outfitters, Topshop, and see what they're doing and try and not replicate that, but like sort of take the best elements and try and bring it into ours. But it's definitely a different sort of shop to them, but I think there's a lot we can learn from the other retailers. And it's a lot about learning on the job because we're not like experienced in retail.
For now, the pair are happy to be open for business and running their own shop, but they're planning a chain of stores to cash in on the growing student population in Nottingham and ultimately around the UK.
It's £20, please, for that one.
We've been talking about Nottingham's growing digital sector, but its growth may have come just in time. Surveys show that a lack of understanding of how to use tools like Google or social media is one of the biggest issues holding new businesses back. But there are some things you can do for yourself to boost your online presence and your sales. We asked Tom Craig from Impression Agency in the Creative Quarter to give us his top tips.
Get listed locally, so people will be searching for your products and services in the local area, so make sure you're ranking for those. Sign up to Google My Business and type in your product, type in your company name, and people will start finding you that way. Find out how people are finding your website, so when your potential clients are on your website, how have they found that? Have they come through a search engine? Have they come through a social media channel? Google offers some free software called Google Analytics, really easy to install, and you can find a wealth of information from that, so definitely install that. Learn yourself. I mean, anyone can learn digital marketing, anyone can learn the basics. There's so much free information out on the internet, Google itself. There's lots of free seminars in Nottingham and around the local area, and there's tons of free networking events, so definitely go along and learn as much as you can yourself. Build your audience, so whether or not that means signing people up to your newsletter, sending them some regular offers, or getting people following your Twitter or your Facebook accounts, but what you've got to do is just build your awareness, build your presence, and just kind of be out there so your customers can find you wherever they are. Make the most of your existing customer base, so get some reviews. If you've done a really good service, if they've enjoyed your meal, or if you've done some really good work in their property, make sure they review you. Make sure it's online, whether it's on your Google page, whether it's on your Facebook page, it doesn't matter, but Google reviews and all sorts of reviews are really important for businesses.
Well, let's find out a bit more about what the Creative Quarter actually is and how it works and even what it's designed to do. We need a creative spokesperson for that, so take a look at these shoes. Yes, purple Dr. Martens with a kind of gold wing on them. They belong to Sarah Manton, who's an artist and obviously very creative. But Sarah, you know a lot about the Creative Quarter. And what's the thinking behind it then? What's it aiming to do?
Basically, to my understanding, it was set up for the digital and science and making community of Nottingham originally a couple of years ago. And when the announcement first came out, all the creatives of Nottingham got very, very excited, and there was a lot of late night meetings involving possibly a little drinking, quite a lot of post-it notes about what we were going to do, the festivals that we were going to create and all the things that were going to happen. Cathy McCardle was then appointed by the Creative Quarter Company and has started to bond all of those things together, and it's really starting to come to fruition now.
And what's it achieving in Nottingham?
Nottingham is a very small city, as you probably know. Everybody knows everybody else. There's certainly far more crossovers than there ever were, and particularly in Hockley and the surrounding Creative Quarter areas, people have started to work much more closely together and embrace the fact that we're a creative community as one of Nottingham, rather than lots of little disparate groups.
So was it a case that there wasn't a creative community in Nottingham and the City Council's trying to kind of kickstart one, or that we've got a creative community and they're trying to build on it?
I think Nottingham, without question, has always been a creative city. It's been more that there were separated little groups, and even today we've been talking about it where there's somebody next door that you need to work with rather than going to London or outside of Nottingham to find exactly the services you need to move your business forward. There's been all sorts of collaborations recently. I'm particularly excited. I'm a big music fan, and we've got the Hockley Hustle coming up at the end of October, which is something that I'm Not From London have developed. They're an events company who are responsible for a lot of the gigs that go on in Nottingham, and they have been instrumental in helping the Music Exchange, the small record shop, independent record shop that was set up for Framework by Paul Smith, and they are now working with Rough Trade, who are going to be coming, and that's a very, very exciting development. They're going to be coming later on in October, and that's going to be crafts and records together, which are two of my absolute faves.
So what do you think it will do for Nottingham then? Is it actually going to have a benefit for the economy, or is it just a lot of artists having a good time?
I mean, the good time, it's all about the good time, obviously, but by that, I mean, you can see for yourself, if you spent any time in Hockley recently, the buzz is much more young families, older people, everybody just getting along together. There's something literally for every community in that area. The food and drink markets has expanded massively, so there's not just the late time economy, there's not just the bars, there's much more in the way of family places to eat. I know Hartley's in particular exploit the fact of things going on at the arena, so they have special displays on in the window. They use an artist who's part of their team to draw pictures of Kylie and what have you on the windows to say that, you know, that things are coming to the arena, and that's what, meaning people are stopping off with their families on the way to the events and on the way back.
So if you're a creative person watching this right now and you want to get more information, where can you find it?
The obvious place to start is thecreativequarter.com, which is the website that's been developed especially for businesses thinking about setting up here, businesses that are here, and visitors to Nottingham. And I know for a fact there's a long list of all the funding, the support and the help that's available from all different quarters. So whether it's at the highest government level, local government, the universities and other parties that are all involved in helping businesses start and flourish in Nottingham.
Let's celebrate more of Nottingham's greatness. You may remember last week we were talking about how our city's, well, it's just great. And we invented everything from the Industrial Revolution to sex, courtesy of D.H. Lawrence, of course. Well, the man behind those theories has been talking to Rob about the spirit of rebelliousness in Nottingham, a distinctive part of our makeup, which can also hold us back.
The funny thing is, as you say, we invented the Industrial Revolution naturally, but then we tried to stop it, didn't we, with the Luddites?
Well, of course, you know, we are interesting, rounded people who, you know, like ideas and then at the same time don't like them. So, as you say, you know, we invent the Industrial Revolution and then we invent the revolution that tries to bring it to its knees. Ned Ludd, you know, is one of those mythic figures you can put alongside Robin Hood, and actually, as often said, he lived in Sherwood Forest. And so we are the great individualists of this nation. We're so rich in ideas that we're able to pick them up like that and then tear them up and move on to the next thing. And, you know, it summed up very well in the Alan Sillitoe novel, Saturday Night, Sunday Morning. And, you know, whatever people say we are, that's what we're not. And I think that actually that is the spirit of this place.
Thanks very much, Robert. So there you have it. We're responsible here in Nottingham for the economy, art, civilization and sex. Yep, all makes sense to me. Thank you very much, Robert.
Well, that's it for this week.
Yeah, it's been a fascinating insight into what goes on behind the walls in these creative businesses.
Yeah, and I've had a great week because I've beat you twice now on the air hockey and on the driving.
Yeah, no, and I'm such a bad loser. That's going to hurt for an entire week.
So it should.
See you next time.
See ya.
Come on then.